Early on in the trial, the judge ruled that this trial was not going to be about Michael Jackson. It was going to be about the actions of Dr. Conrad Murray. So he did not allow a lot of that evidence into admission. So the defense is going to be working on that appeal. In the short term, they do want to affect his sentencing, which is scheduled for April 29th. As you mentioned, Dr. Murray could receive up to 4 years in state prison. His defense attorney is suggesting that they will ask for probation, perhaps some short time in the county jail. But the judge has already ruled in ordering Dr. Murray to jail immediately that he is a threat to society, in the judge's words, a danger to society. So it's going to be a difficult job, it seems, for the defense team to argue for a much shorter sentence.
Okay.
Normally it's just a routine vote, but things in Italy are anything but normal these days. The government is weighed down by debts they fear could lead them into default. Meanwhile, calls are growing louder for Silvio Berlusconi to cede power. The widely asked question is whether the scandal-prone Prime Minister can survive this one. CNN's Matthew Chance is in Rome with the answer.
Benita, thanks very much. Well, it is a crunch vote for Silvio Berlusconi. He faces a test in the country's parliament to see whether he can still muster a majority. There's lots of speculation in the Italian press that he won't be able to do that. The media, the newspapers, full of reports that between 20 and 40 of his MPs from his governing coalition have defected to the other side. That would be more than enough, of course, to bring down the fragile Berlusconi Italian coalition. But of course Silvio Berlusconi is a veteran horse trader, and he's been working very hard behind the scenes, we're here, to attract these MPs back to his fold. Some of the newspapers, front pages I'm going to show you now from the day's newspapers today. This one showing Silvio Berlusconi with his rolling up his sleeves and with a combat helmet on, saying, "Come and get me," indicating that he is preparing very much for a fight. This one, Il Giornale, which is a paper which is owned by Silvio Berlusconi, saying in Italian, "I'm not leaving." So very much putting across the message from Silvio Berlusconi that even though the odds may be stacked against him in the parliamentary vote, he's certainly not going to go without a fight, Benita.
This is a guy that has been through a lot of scandals and has faced so many things that politicians in other countries would never be able to survive, whether it is a sex scandal or whether it is corruption or now a political one. What are the likely scenarios that could happen then if this parliamentary vote goes against him?
Well, basically it will be up to the Italian president what happens then. I mean, certainly, officially it's not a vote of confidence, and so Silvio Berlusconi technically wouldn't have to step down if he doesn't secure this majority. But it may be taken out of his hands, because what would happen then is the Italian president would have the power to ask another political figure, a member of the opposition perhaps, to try and form a majority government. And if that were the case, Silvio Berlusconi would be pushed out. So there's a whole, kind of plethora of possibilities and of outcomes should Silvio Berlusconi lose this, what is supposed to be a routine parliamentary vote. If he doesn't have the majority, it's going to be very difficult for him indeed to cling on to the Prime Minister's office, Benito.
Well, CNN is reporting that Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi has offered to resign his position this after losing his majority in Parliament. We'll take our second break now. Sports is next. Welcome back. The storm surrounding the conviction of Pakistani cricket star Mohammad Asif and two of his compatriots for bribery charges have yet to die down, despite efforts by cricket authorities to calm jittery nerves about the future of the sport. The scandal is the latest setback for the sport that has referred to as the clean game. In the Gambia, though, cricket officials are insisting that they can help young players stay clean of the minutes with the proper upbringing. Our Babakar Senghor reports on the latest batch of materials donated to the Gambia Cricket Association.
Boys of a game that is enjoying a revival in the country, cricket's re-emergence as a national sport will rest largely on the shoulders of these young boys who are the future of the game in the country. Their road to stardom might take longer, more odious routes, but with better partnerships spearheaded by the Gambian Cricket Association, such fears might never come true. The Cricket Association's long-standing commitment to producing quality youth products has seen them push for greater cooperation with partners both at home and abroad.
No end of commitment to the game of cricket. In fact, if it wasn't for probably Johnny's enthusiasm, I might have lost enthusiasm myself. But it was because of his enthusiasm, I could see what he was trying to do under very difficult circumstances, that I could see with a little bit of help, we could get somewhere. And we are getting somewhere.
Those partnerships are now bearing fruit. The latest receipt of this consignment of cricket training kits, including bats, helmets, and a large cricket mat, among other items from Success Cricket Over 50s, shows where the association is heading for in its development.
As I said, we've gone to Kerewan, we've gone to Farafenye. It's because of funds we have gone to LRR, Soma, which we are going to Janjambure and Basse, which is still on the pipeline. If we get the finance or the funds, we intend to go out and start the game day for the end of the year.
With the association leading efforts to decentralize the sports in the country, the coming of the materials, according to members, is expected to strengthen that effort.
The materials are very important now because we have less materials for the past years. We've been trying out for help through our correspondent from England, and unfortunately, as Andrew has promised, so he has delivered the goods, the materials. We are very, very grateful, and it will be very, very much appreciated.
Bekama has become a good breeding ground for the harnessing of young talents in cricket. Accessing quality materials at a younger age has become an important issue for the Gambia Cricket Association, especially for those young players outside Banjul.
Bekama loves sports. To be very honest, when I started training with them, especially the girls, we challenged the girls from Banjul here, the team that they are, and we defeated them. So that they boost. Because for the first time, Bekama to win Banjul. Yeah, and we are not training. So when we started training, we have a girls team. We invited the team in Banjul here, and we defeated them.
They might be too young to sense the turbulent wind that is blowing apart international cricket in recent times. That is in reference to the chaotic aftershocks of the bribery scandals affecting Pakistani cricket. But in the pursuit of glory, these young cricketers will be aiming to reach stardom using the right lanes. Having bats and helmets will aid their upward progress. For Grts Sport, this is Babukar Senghor.
And before we go, a recap once again of our headline-making stories. After the snacks and numerous adjournments, the treason trial of former Information Minister Ahmed Skatrat Jane and 3 others is rumbling on. The 1,000-odd Gambian pilgrims are looking forward to their homecoming after a hitch-free spiritual journey to Islam's holiest site. Italy's scandal-prone Prime Minister today faced the ultimate battle in his political life. This after the cascading Eurozone debt crisis is threatening to engulf his country. And Los Angeles court has found Michael Jackson's personal physician Conrad Murray guilty of involuntary manslaughter. You can follow that story on our GRTS programs live on our website at www.grts.gm. There you can also monitor GRTS Radio Live. That brings us to the end of this edition of the news. Thanks for joining us and stay tuned to enjoy our range of interesting programs.
The Technology Show. Science and technology has impacted all spheres of human endeavor over the past several millennia. Today, with the giant leaps that have been made in areas such as communication, power, medicine, and food technology, the world has virtually shrunken to look more and more like a village community. There is increased competition for the world's resources as populations have exploded exponentially. Science and its application, technology, are the tools that humanity has at its disposal to do just this. Technologies that generate power, such as thermal, solar, wind, tidal wave, and others will be explored. Wireless technologies have revolutionized the way we work, communicate, compute, socialize, and even have fun. This TV program will give you an insider's view on how it all works.